G'day, welcome again to Dateline, and the last time I looked, I'm George Negus. Tonight, the ghosts of apartheid. The murder earlier this year of the infamous white supremacist leader Eugene Terre-Blanche is fueling calls for revenge from the remnants of South African racism.
3,000, 4,000, 5,000 must die there.
Fascinating, that's later. Back in April this year, Eugene Terre-Blanche, the founder of the AWB, South Africa's white supremacist Afrikaner resistance movement, was brutally murdered in the bedroom of his remote farm, allegedly by black workers. Not unexpectedly, Terre-Blanche's death has provoked anger and paranoia in both white and black South African communities. It's all an unfortunate echo from the apartheid era the Rainbow Nation would rather forget, particularly given the post-World Cup euphoria the country's been enjoying. French reporter Zoe Debussière filed this report for us.
It's April in Ventersdorp, South Africa, and people have gathered to grieve for a man they considered as a leader. "20,000 Afrikaners have travelled from all over the country, even from overseas, to pay their last respects to Eugene Terre-Blanche. As a tribute, the mourners burst into the old national anthem, the one from the days of apartheid. And a preacher stirs the crowd.
Waar gaan jy heen? Geen aarde om in te ploeg as die rooi grond van Suid-Afrika. Daar is vir u kind geen ander speelplek as die wye vlaktes van Suid-Afrika. Daar is vir u geen ander waterstroom om jou dors in te les as die waterstrome van Suid-Afrika. Ja, my vriend, daar is vir geen ander rustplek vir jou graf as die bloeddeurdrenkte aarde van Suid-Afrika. Hierdie land is ons land. Wat nooit.
Men on horseback ride ahead of the hearse. A tribute to their leader, who was famous for appearing at political rallies, sitting astride a black stallion. Eugene Terre-Blanche founded the AWB, the right-wing Afrikaner Resistance Party, in 1973. For years, he threatened civil war to maintain white rule in South Africa, amassing as many as 70,000 supporters. Since the end of apartheid, the supremacist movement declined in power, keeping largely to itself, as the Rainbow Nation has struggled to reconcile its violent past. But everything changed on the 3rd of April this year, when Terre-Blanche was murdered. As white confronted black once again.
Treated as sensitive. Okay. This is not a party we are attending here. We are grieving. Do you know what he's grieving?
And now they kill the main boer. I wouldn't laugh, sir. What are you laughing? What's the smile for? You're smiling. What are you smiling for? Don't smile. Don't smile.
That day, at Terre-Blanche's farm, even black policemen were considered partly to blame for his murder.
Why doesn't that rule?
And the AWB was reborn, with a newfound legitimacy to seek revenge.
White man on his farm. White people are waiting in South Africa to be killed like animals in a row at the abattoir. If this continues, we will also kill the black people who comes to us, who tries to kill us. We will also kill them, and we will also keep on beating them, their corpses, like they've beaten Mr. Terre-Blanche after he was dead.
the white leader's death was indeed exceptionally violent. A few members of his family agreed to show us where he died. We were let into his property and driven to a small house where Terre Blanche sometimes napped during the day. According to the police, Terre Blanche was sleeping here when two of his black workers came into his bedroom and hacked him to death with a machete. The murder weapon, even the mattress where Terre Blanche died, were quickly removed by police.
Here you can see the blood on the bed. It was penetrating through the mattress. The whole mattress was completely soaked in blood. The murderers came in through this window, softly, without any noise. He was fast asleep.
Terre Blanche supporters insist the murder was racially motivated.
This is what the Rainbow Nation, what they called. This is what they do.
Rainbow Nation, the dream of a new beginning for South Africa. A place where blacks and whites could live together in peace. But here, in Ventersdorp, Terre Blanche's hometown, it seems that dream was stillborn. The day after Terre Blanche was killed, in front of the white leader's farm, we met Hans, a neighbor.
This is not the first one. There are plenty of it. But I know this guy, and he was a really good guy. An old man. I respect this guy.
Do you think this could happen to you?
It can happen to everybody. To our neighbors, it happened about 3 weeks back. But they catch the guys before they can do it. In the garden.
Many white farmers are armed and ready for violence, Hans told us. But many have died too. The day after that, he led us to a place that means a lot to him. A memorial for all South Africa's white farmers who've been killed since apartheid ended in 1994.
You can see all the provinces in South Africa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 provinces in South Africa. Here are all the names of the guys who's been murdered by black guys in South Africa. Now, Eugene Terre Blanche, this guy's death is number 3,338.
3,338 murders in 16 years. That is one white farmer killed every 36 hours.
This guy was producing maize and giving food to the country. Now they are gone. They are gone. Plenty of those people are just murdered for nothing.
And for every killing, Hans says there's a growing sense amongst Afrikaner farmers that they are becoming more and more vulnerable.
Look what is happening. If it is going on like this, all the farmers will be dead about 20 years from now. All of them will be dead.
The farmers might feel like victims, yet they still own more than 80% of South Africa's land. Hans and his father Thijs live near Ventersdorp. Their family settled here 100 years ago, breeding cattle on the 7,000-hectare property. They were comfortable and secure. But all of that has not changed.
They murdered my brother 5 years ago, so we break off. You can't stay on the farm. So I bought a house in town, and we live in town now. You can't look here. Where is the nearest white people here? Where? My farm here, 14 kilometers up that way, 15 kilometers up that way, 10 kilometers up that way, before there's another farm. So by the time these people came to help you, you're dead already. How can you live here?
After his brother's murder, Thijs decided to destroy his own house. so it could never been used by black South Africans. Now, all he wants is revenge.
It won't help the white people in South Africa, the white South Africans, to start shooting with guns. Forget it. Because they've got the army, they've got the police. We're gonna wait till big places came together, like on a soccer stadium. And then we're gonna blow the whole thing up. And 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 must die there. And that's how we're going to do it. There's no other way. You can't go and try to shoot 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 people. Forget it. You must kill them massive. And that's how we're going to do it.
When he refers to killing, Thijs knows what he's talking about. He used to be in the army, and he runs a second business in addition to his farm. 15 kilometers away from his land, he owns a shop. A special shop, the town's biggest armory. Here, with his wife, he sells weapons and gives shooting training to his customers. He has more than 19 different guns just for his own protection.
Inga, teken net die sertifikaat, dan kan sy gaan asseblief.
White customers, but also black people come to the shop. Despite the end of apartheid, a wall of miscomprehension remains between the two communities.
Yeah.
Okay, Hans just found, he's on his way, okay?
These two customers want to sign up for shooting training, but Thijs is less than happy to deal with them.
Heb je een zwart pen? Ja, heb je een zwart pen? Dan moet je een zwart pen krijgen, want mijne krijgt voeten. Ja, mijne krijgt voeten.
Though he knows black people usually don't speak Afrikaans, Thijs makes a point of talking to them in the Boer language.
Wanneer ga je voor een persoon een vuurwapen wijzen? You know what is the difference between show a person a gun or point a person a gun? Ken je die verschil tussen wijs vir 'n man 'n wapen en point hom 'n wapen?
Hy kan nie Afrikaans taal praat nie.
Hy kan nie Afrikaans praat, maar ek het nou net met hom Afrikaans gepraat. Nou sê hy vir my hy kan nie Afrikaans praat, dan moet hy Engels kan praat. So dan moet hy met my Engels praat.
Thijs seems unable to hide his disdain for these customers.
All right, so you want to speak English? Well, then, when will you point a person a firearm?
It's a reminder of the past, when white people would only speak to black people to give them orders. Now, both groups have to coexist. But there's no hiding the tension and paranoia that remains.
Man, look at the farms, what's going on here. It's terrible. The rape cases, it's terrible. I don't want to be raped.
You think you could be raped because of your color of skin?
I can't really say what I want to say. But you can think. All right. Thank you.
Eugene Terblanche's death has sharpened these fears and the open contempt whites have towards black people here. Even in their townhouse, Thijs and Hans live barricaded. They say many of their friends and neighbors do the same. And they're embittered that they're losing the land they believe belongs to them.
Die polisie bly intussen op volle gereedheidsgrondslag.
They say the white people took their ground. We not took the ground. We fight for the ground.
It's your ground.
Of course it's our ground. Of course it's our ground. The Bible said it's our ground. The Bible said it's our ground. We fight for the ground. And God gave us the ground.
The ground and the creatures that live there. Thijs and Hans show us a room to demonstrate their point. Dozens of South Africa's rare species are displayed here, trophies from 30 years of hunting.
There are 29 different kind of boxing in South Africa, and I shoot them all.
But this room is also a metaphor for his deepest conviction. White and black people are two different breeds. They should never be permitted to mingle.
In the field, not this buck mixed with that one. Not this one mixed with that one, but they're on one farm. So now the question is, why must I marry a black woman? I can't marry a black woman. Never. It's against my brain. It's against the law. I'm not mixing. I will never ever, I die before I go to a black woman.
That night on TV, the Terre Blanche murder case dominates the national news.
Politieke partye oor die spektrum heen het die moord veroordeel en 'n oproep gedoen om kalmte. Die AWB wat vroeër verklaar het dat hy die moord op sy leiers sal wreek, het 'n paar uur gelede sy dreigement herroep. 'n Dag voor die hofverskyning van die twee verdagtes in die saak, het die beweging ook 'n oproep op sy lede gedoen om kalm te bly en nie die reg in eie hande te neem nie.
5 days after Terre Blanche was killed, the murder suspects are brought before court in Ventersdorp. Hundreds of police are sent onto the streets with fears that the trial will trigger violence between blacks and whites here. Almost 1,000 people gather in front of the court. Supporters of Eugene Terre Blanche on one side, black people on the other.
Oh, you to the family, man. You make them hoes, man.
Farmers are not the enemy. Racists are the enemy.
So when you kill a farmer, you only kill the racist farmers.
Farmers are not the enemy.
I want to ask you, all the farmers that are murdered are all racist.
Because you must know.
I asked you a question. The farmers that are murdered are all racist.
I'm saying to you, those who kill farm workers are the enemy.
Well, give me one.
Those who continue to abuse and call us kaffers.
You are not prepared.
And then we are not afraid.
You are not prepared to answer the question. I'm talking to Sister. I'm talking to Sister. This guy and I are friends. You mind?
Jy is buite orde. Jy breek die onderneming wat ons aan die polisie gegee het. Jy praat nie met die pers nie, jy bedraai jouself.
Wie sê ek kan nie met die pers praat?
Asseblief.
Wie sê ek kan nie met die pers praat? Hey, wie sê ek kan nie met die pers praat?
Sy reg, hy praat oor jy wel.
With tension building, the Afrikaners break into a song they know will provoke the black community. The old anthem from the days of apartheid. In response, the blacks sing back, but with South Africa's national song, the symbol of Mandela's liberation. Anthem versus anthem, black versus white, a bloodless street battle, pushing tensions even higher. Then, the Afrikaners taunt their crowd with this. A song comparing blacks to monkeys. The insult is too much, and a fight erupts. Police struggle to keep the two sides apart. It's the very rage and violence South Africa has been trying to put behind it for the past 16 years. Then, suddenly, something else attracts the public's attention. The two murder suspects appear outside the court after the trial was adjourned until later this year. They are cheered as heroes by the blacks in the crowd, saviors amongst a community that had feared Eugene Terre Blanche. And it is clear, once more, that here at least, the idea of a united South Africa still has a long way to go.
These two young men, they've taken us out of, the lion's mouth, man. We are almost about to die, then right now, we are cool about it. I feel more than free. I feel more than free. Never be free.
And we thought that sort of mindless racism was behind the struggling Rainbow Nation. Well, if it makes you feel any better, my contacts tell me those people are a very small minority. Let's hope they're right. And meanwhile, there's a biography of Eugene Terre-Blanche with more background to that story on our website, sbs.com.au/Dateline.